Someone asked me, is age important? And, age is an illusion completely. But in relation to the starseed community and the ascension process, it does matter some in that there were several waves of starseeds who came. Okay. So we have the initial starseeds and wanderers that came, and they came in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay. Then you had my wave, which was the Indigo children. Okay. I'm the very front, not the very front, but I'm pretty early on in the Indigos. The Indigos probably are like, I don't know exactly, probably mid to late 80s. Well, I was born in 79, but I mean growing up, if they were children in the 80s or 90s, you know, those are probably Indigos. And we came in, many of us, some of us were spiritual, and I definitely had psychic talents and spiritual things, but I suppressed a lot of that later on. Early on, though, I definitely had psychic talents and abilities, but I didn't know how to express them or what they were. And then later on, my rational mind suppressed it and I doubted it all, you know. And I hadn't heard anything about Indigo children then, so I didn't know anything about the Starseed community or any of that. But the Indigos, a lot of us were system disruptors. Okay, so we came in not necessarily having the answers, but knowing something was wrong. Okay, so we strongly rejected the old world systems. It didn't make, none of it made sense. I remember coming in and asking all these questions like, why is the world like this? What about the climate? What about all this stuff? Like what about overpopulation? Like, all I could see all these clear problems, and none of the adults had any answers, you know. Not None of them even thought about any of these things really. So our parents were heavily materialistic. So after the Indigo children, you have the Crystal children, okay? And they they have a lot more spirituality in their base. The Indigos now are, now that a lot of us have woken up to our true mission, we embraced our power. Um, but you can see there's a whole wave that came in, like millennials, like after 2000, and they have a huge array of natural talents. Some of them have not gone through the ultimate processes that some of the Indigos have had to go to, because we were so heavily embedded in darkness, because we were so heavily embedded in density. We had to really face that density to get to some clarity, to get back to the light. Not so the case for the Crystal children, who are more naturally in the flow, less dense, have a little bit less karma, and because of the system busting that the Indigos did, they came into a world already with a lot more variety of expression, a lot more freedom. So an expanded consciousness. Um, but the crystals, when once they come to their uh, ultimate mission and ultimate purpose, they're going to represent, they're starting now to represent enormous powers uh, of manifestation and new spiritual abilities which are coming. I've already seen many of them manifesting. Uh, Now, then after that, we have the final wave, which is the golden children. Okay, and those are the ones who I'm saying are born after 2012. And these are children born without any third density karma. So understand, they may have already taken on some bit of programming from their parents, and in that way be acting out, third density behaviors and stuff. But once the adults free the world consciousness, once enough of us are free in the adult collective, and once we start freeing our children then to express themselves openly and start recognizing, once we start seeing them as what they really are, they will unveil themselves. They will start to remember who they really are, you know. And that's already happening also. Like, I've seen this happen. There are some phenomenal children around right now. And let me say something about the crystal children, okay? So if you're 18, if you're 19, if you're 20, you know, you've even if you're um if you were born in 2010, if you just missed the cutoff for the golden children, and that doesn't mean precisely that you're not a golden children also. That just means after that, nothing but golden children are coming in. Okay? So there are golden children that were born a little bit before too. But whether you're a crystal or a golden child, what's really important for you to recognize is that this karma is not yours. You understand? This world that you were born into, these systems, this density, this darkness, which your parents have given to you, which the world has given to you and tried to program into you, it's not yours. It's literally a layer of programming that you're not involved in. You have to shed it completely. You have to forge a new path with your own internal guidance. You have more power in you than any of these adults understand, including me. Love and light.